Hotkey Books presents Fall of the Argosi, written by Sebastien De Castell and read by Kristin Atherton. The adventure doesn't end here, so stay tuned after the end of the audiobook for an exclusive sample from the next audiobook in the series, Fate of the Argosi. For everyone at Hotkey Books, outstanding companions along the many twists and turns of the Path of 8 novels. The Boy in the Sand. The child raced barefoot across the desert. The cuts on the soles of his feet were staining the sand a madman's scarlet, but the look in his eyes said that was the least of his problems. Though I didn't know it then, he was fleeing his father, who loved him more than anything in the world, and was now intent on his murder. The same could have been said of my own father, but I'm not ready to tell that story yet. At first, the boy had been nothing but a puff of dust and blonde hair in the distance. The sun was beating down mercilessly that day, reminding all living things who was in charge, and that deserts were cursed places at the best of times. I had a horse, though, which makes all the difference. "Reckon that's trouble ahead?" I asked Quadlopo, patting his neck. The horse showed no signs of giving the matter any thought, just swished his tail to keep the flies away. In the 5 days since we'd fled to the borderlands, Quadlopo had yet to offer an opinion on anything, except perhaps that he would have preferred that I'd not stolen him in the first place. After all, it wasn't like anyone wanted him dead. The grubby whirl of spindly arms and legs ran up the side of a dune, then lost his balance and came tumbling down the other side. He looked like he couldn't have been more than 7, an unseemly age to be running around the desert alone. His pale blue tunic was torn to rags, and the skin of his arms and face shone an angry red that spoke of too many days out in the sun with nothing and no one to protect him. He was limping, too, but kept on going, which meant whatever was chasing him troubled him more than the pain. Brave kid. When he got within 30 yards of me, he stopped and stared, as if trying to work out whether I was a mirage. I'm not sure what conclusion he came to, but I guess he'd been running a long time because his legs gave out on him and he dropped to his hands and knees. That's when I saw the 2 new figures come shambling through the haze towards us. A tall man and a squat woman, whose unnatural, shuffling gaits made me question whether those labels might be too generous in describing whatever had followed the boy. For the first time since we'd happened upon this unpleasantness, Quadlopo became restless. He blew hot air out of his nostrils and pawed the sand with his hooves, trying to turn his head away from the mangled figures lumbering towards the child, who was now lying face down in the sand, by all appearances waiting to die. Most folk in these parts, should they get lost in the desert and run out of either water or the will to live, choose to meet their end on their back, so the last thing they will see will be the blue sky above. The boy, though, seemed determined to look away from his pursuers. Now that I'd gotten a good look at them, I didn't blame him. Insanity, as I'd learned in my paltry 17 years, could take all forms, come in all shapes and sizes. I'd witnessed folks of sound mind condemned as lunatics for the crime of being ugly and eccentric at the same time. I'd met well-groomed, erudite gentlemen of means who hid diabolical madness.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?